You're exhausted. It's 2 a.m. Your baby is crying and you have no idea why. You fed her, you changed her, you rocked her, you sang the same song 17 times, and she's still crying. So you do what every parent does. You guess. And the terrible truth is, you don't have to. Because your baby has been telling you exactly what she needs since the moment she was born. You just haven't learned the language yet. And today, that changes. Welcome to Silent Baby Mind. Subscribe right now, because what you're about to learn today will permanently change the way you look at your child. Most parents think baby communication is simple. She cries when something's wrong, she smiles when something's right. End of story. But developmental scientists have spent decades documenting something that will genuinely stop you in your tracks. Babies are not passive little creatures waiting to be fed and held. They are active, sophisticated communicators running an entire parallel conversation underneath the one you think you're having. A conversation built in body language, in gaze, in rhythm, in touch, in the precise timing of their movements. And if you don't know how to read it, you are missing the most important things your child will ever say to you, things she will never be able to say again, because they belong only to this window of time before words take over. These 7 signals are her love language, and by the end of this, you will never look at your baby the same way again. 1. The lock. You're holding your baby and you glance down, not really focused, maybe thinking about the dishes or the meeting tomorrow, and then it happens. She finds your eyes, and she holds them. She doesn't look away, she doesn't blink fast, she just looks at you with this deep, unblinking focus that feels almost uncomfortable in how intense it is. Most parents look away first. That is one of the most meaningful moments in human development, and most of us blink through it. What your baby is doing has a name. Researchers call it mutual gaze, and it is not a casual behavior. A landmark study from Harvard Center on the Developing Child found that sustained eye contact between a caregiver and an infant produces synchronized brainwave activity, meaning your brain and your baby's brain begin to operate in measurable harmony during a locked gaze. This doesn't happen with strangers. It doesn't happen with screens. It happens with you, specifically, because you are the person her nervous system has mapped as safe. When your baby locks eyes with you and holds it, she is doing something that has no equivalent in adult language. She is saying, "You are the most important thing in my environment right now. Not the light, not the sound, not the movement. You. The next time it happens, hold it back. Don't look away. Stay in it." Because she is offering you something that no amount of money, no career success, no achievement can replicate. She is offering you her full, undivided attention, and she wants yours in return. And here is something most parents never consider. Every time you hold that gaze instead of breaking it, you are literally wiring her brain for secure attachment. The neural pathways being built in those seconds of locked eye contact are the same pathways that will shape how she forms relationships, how she handles stress, and how she sees herself for the rest of her life. That is not an exaggeration. That is neuroscience, and it costs you nothing but presence. 2. The root. Your baby is lying on your chest, calm, not hungry, not upset. And slowly, almost unconsciously, she turns her head and presses her face into your skin. Not to feed, just to press. She roots around, nuzzles in, and goes still. Most parents think this is a feeding reflex misfiring. It is not. The rooting reflex, yes, is tied to feeding in the early weeks. But researchers at the University of Michigan documented a distinct form of nuzzling behavior in infants that emerges independent of hunger. One that correlates directly with elevated oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in both the infant and the caregiver. When your baby presses her face into your chest, your neck, your shoulder, not in search of milk but in search of contact, She is doing the human equivalent of what we'd call burrowing into someone you love. She is seeking the smell of you, the warmth of you, the specific texture of your skin against her face. Researchers studying olfactory bonding in neonates found that infants as young as 3 days old can distinguish their mother's scent from a stranger's, and that exposure to that scent measurably lowers their cortisol levels. The nuzzle is her body's way of taking a dose of you. It is self-regulation through proximity. And the fact that she seeks it out even when she isn't distressed, that's the part that matters. She's not medicating anxiety. She is savoring comfort. There is a difference. That's your baby saying, being near you feels better than anything else. What makes this even more remarkable is that this scent recognition is bidirectional. Studies show that mothers can identify their own newborn scent with accuracy rates above 90% within the first few days after birth. You are memorizing each other at a biological level, building a map of one another that lives not in the mind but in the body. The nuzzle is both of you finding your way home. 3. The still point. You're talking to your baby, maybe narrating what you're doing. Okay, now we're going to change your diaper, here we go. Or maybe just telling her about your day because you've read that talking to babies is important. And at some point, mid-sentence, she goes completely still. She's not asleep. Her eyes are open. She's not distressed. She is simply stopped. No movement, no fuss, just stillness. This one gets misread more than almost any other baby behavior. Parents worry they've bored their child or that something is wrong. Neither is true. What you're observing is called the orienting response, and it is one of the most studied phenomena in infant cognition. When something captures a baby's full attention, not just casual interest, but genuine cognitive engagement, her motor system quiets down to redirect energy toward processing. The stillness is not absence. It is the opposite. It is total presence. Dr. Andrew Meltzoff at the University of Washington, one of the leading researchers in infant cognition, has documented that babies enter this state most reliably in response to the human voice, specifically a familiar human voice, your voice. The fact that your words produce stillness in your baby is neurological evidence that she is processing your communication at a level far deeper than most parents ever realize. She is not just hearing sound, she is analyzing rhythm, tone, pattern, and meaning, building the architecture of language inside her brain in real time, using your voice as the raw material. The next time your baby goes still while you talk, don't stop. Keep going. Because she is listening more intently than any adult ever has. Researchers estimate that by the time a baby reaches her first birthday, she will have absorbed somewhere between 1 and 3 million words from her caregivers. She won't be able to say most of them yet, but they are already inside her, organized and waiting. Every word you spoke during those still, quiet moments was one of them. 4. The reach. At some point, usually between 3 and 5 months, something new happens. You walk into the room, your baby sees you, and she reaches. Both arms up and forward, fingers spread, reaching for you before you've even gotten close enough to pick her up. It is one of the most physically disarming things a human being can do to another human being, and it means something precise. Motor researchers at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden studied anticipatory reaching behavior in infants and found that the reach is not a reflex. It requires predictive cognition. Your baby is not reacting to being lifted. She is anticipating it. She has built an internal model of you, your face, your voice, your movement, the sequence of events that follows your arrival. And she is acting on that model before the stimulus is even complete. In plain language, she knows you're coming, she knows what happens next, and she wants it. She wants you. The reach is arguably the clearest, unambiguous signal an infant can produce. There is no other interpretation. She is not reaching for the room. She's not reaching toward general comfort. She has seen your face and extended her body toward you as far as her motor system will allow. That is the physical expression of attachment. And when you pick her up and she settles immediately, that quick relaxation, that exhale, that is the completion of the sentence she started with the reach. Never rush past that moment. When she reaches, pause for just a second before you pick her up. Look at her. Let her see that you saw it. That fraction of a second of acknowledgement, that moment where your eyes meet and she knows her signal landed, is one of the most powerful things you can give her. It tells her that she has agency, that her communication works, that she can reach for you and you will come. That belief that reaching toward someone you love will bring them closer is one she will carry for the rest of her life. 5. The rhythm match. This one requires you to slow down and watch carefully because it happens in fractions of seconds and most parents never notice it at all. You're holding your baby and you're talking, rocking slightly, and if you filmed the moment and played it back at half speed, you would see something remarkable. Your baby is moving in sync with you. The tiny movements of her arms, her head, her body, they rise and fall in rhythm with your speech. This is called interactional synchrony, and it was first documented by psychiatrist William Condon in the 1970s, whose frame-by-frame analysis of infant-caregiver interaction revealed that babies coordinate their micro-movements to the precise rhythmic structure of human speech. Not random sound, not music. Human speech, specifically the speech of their caregivers. What this means is staggering. Your baby is not just receiving your communication, she is participating in it. She is entering into the rhythm of you, your cadence, your breath, your timing, and organizing her body around it. This is the earliest form of what we call turn-taking in language development. Before she can form a single word, your baby is learning the dance of conversation by doing it with you, microsecond by microsecond, every time you hold her and speak. She is practicing being in dialogue with you. That rocking, that talking, those moments that feel ordinary, they are the foundation of every conversation she will ever have for the rest of her life. And she is building them with you. 6. The hand grip. You put your finger into your baby's palm, and she wraps her fingers around it. You've probably heard that the palmar grasp is a reflex, automatic, involuntary, present at birth, and that's true. But here's what the textbooks leave out. Around 3 to 4 months, something changes. The reflex begins to fade, and in its place, something voluntary emerges. She begins to choose to grip. Researchers at the University of Pittsburgh studying the transition from reflexive to voluntary grasping found a distinct period where infants show preferential gripping behavior, holding longer, gripping more firmly, and initiating contact more frequently with familiar caregivers than with unfamiliar adults. The grip is no longer automatic. It's intentional. When your 4-month-old reaches for your finger and holds on, really holds on, not just the reflex clench of a newborn, but a deliberate, sustained grip, she is making a choice. The same way you might reach out and hold someone's hand without saying anything, because words aren't sufficient for what you want to communicate. She can't say, "Don't go." She can't say, "Stay here." She can't say, "I feel safe when you're close." But she can grip your finger and not let go. And that means all of those things at once. The next time she grips your finger, don't pull away until she releases first. Let her set the terms of the moment, because in that small act of waiting, of letting her decide when it ends, you are teaching her something that will shape every relationship she ever has, that the people who love her will stay as long as she needs them to. 7. The after cry return. This is the one that will change how you handle the hard moments. Your baby has been crying. You've been trying to soothe her, rocking, shushing, feeding, all of it. And finally, she settles. The crying stops. And then, in the quiet that follows, she does something that seems almost too small to notice. She turns toward you. Not away. Toward. She presses in, or she looks up, or she simply orients her body back in your direction. After all of that distress, after all of that storm, she comes back to you. This is not random. Developmental psychologist John Bowlby, whose attachment theory remains one of the most empirically supported frameworks in all of developmental psychology, identified this return behavior as the core indicator of secure attachment. A securely attached infant uses the caregiver as what Bowlby called a safe haven, the place to retreat when the world becomes overwhelming, and critically, as a secure base, the place from which to venture out again once the storm passes. The after-cry return is your baby confirming in the most vulnerable moment she can experience that you are her safe haven. She didn't reach for the blanket. She didn't orient toward the mobile or the light or the sound machine. She turned toward you. That turn is the whole relationship compressed into a single gesture. It means, in my worst moment, you are still where I want to be. That is not instinct. That is trust. That is love in the only form available to someone who has been alive for a few months and has no words for any of it. And she is giving it to you completely. What Bowlby's research also revealed is this: the after-cry return is not just about the present moment. Every time your baby comes back to you after distress and finds you calm, available, and warm every single time, she is updating her internal model of what relationships are. She is learning that rupture can be followed by repair, that storms pass, that the people who love her don't disappear when things get hard. That is one of the most protective beliefs a human being can carry into adulthood, and you are building it, one after-cry return at a time. Here is the thing that no one tells you when you bring a baby home. Everyone talks about what you need to give her: the feeding schedule, the sleep training, the developmental milestones, the right toys, the right music, the right everything. And yes, all of that matters. But no one sits you down and tells you what she is already giving you. Right now. In every gaze, she holds a beat too long. In every grip that doesn't let go. In every still, quiet moment when your voice is the thing that stops her moving. In every reach toward you across the distance. In every small body that presses into yours, because you are the place that feels most like home. She's been talking to you since the very first day. She's been saying, I know you, and I chose you, and you are my whole world, in the only language she has. And now you know how to hear it. You are going to see it everywhere, in the ordinary moments, the moments you almost missed, the ones that don't make it into photos but live somewhere deeper, in the place where you keep the things that actually matter. Don't miss them. She won't offer them forever, but she is offering them right now. If this changed how you see your baby, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach other parents who need to hear this. Subscribe to Silent Baby Mind so you don't miss what's coming next, because every week we go deeper into the science of what your baby is really telling you. And drop a comment below. Tell me which of these 7 signals you've already seen in your own child. I read every single one. See you in the next video.